This billionaire worth 200 million is pretending to be poor. A 10,000 bottle wine is put into a 2 yuan wine bottle, high-end meat sauce is put into a cheap can, and imported barbecue is replaced with discount promotional packaging. After everything was done, he began to enjoy it. A sip of high-end wine gave him an unprecedented thrill. As a billionaire worth 200 million, why would he do this? It all started 2 days ago, because he couldn't make money. His wife asked for a divorce. The lawyer suggested they calm down for 3 months. Deshaun walked dejectedly on the street and bought a lottery ticket with the only 2 yuan he had. Back home, he threw the lottery ticket into the trash can. His wife casually cleaned it out, and the next day, the winning number was the one he bought. Looking at the trash can outside, he ran out frantically, rummaging through it. The neighbors thought he was starving, but he actually found it. He suddenly went from being penniless to a hidden billionaire worth 200 million. The financial advisor told him that if his wife found out, he would have to give away 100 million. But there was a way. He just needed to pretend to be poor for 3 months and suddenly have money. Deshaun started a spree of revenge spending. First, he got a high-end suit, then a limited edition watch. Whether it was clothes or shoes, he bought everything the salesperson recommended. Feeling satisfied as a wealthy man, Deshaun was about to leave when he almost bumped into a friend's family. He hurriedly hid in a store. He asked the store clerk not to let his friend in. Seeing him dressed in designer brands, the clerk knew he was not ordinary, so he stopped the friend. Back home, afraid his wife would find out, he put all the luxury goods in the warehouse. Expensive wine was put into 2 yuan bottles, high-end meat sauce into cheap cans, and imported barbecue into discount promotional packaging. Before he could enjoy a few sips, his wife suddenly came home. He hurriedly jumped onto the sofa. By the time his wife saw him, he had already taken off his designer clothes. They say a day as a couple is worth 100 days of grace. His wife couldn't bear to see him like this. She didn't expect him to be so poor that he couldn't even afford clothes. So she introduced Deshaun to work at the supermarket where she worked. For the sake of 200 million, Deshaun had no choice but to agree. That day, his wife's parents suddenly visited and saw his 2 yuan wine bottle. Deshaun said, "This is too harsh, let me get you a better one." Old Zhang said, "Here, I never expected to drink good wine." This was clearly looking down on him. After a sip of red wine, Deshaun almost gave himself away. This taste, he had it once at Old Zhang's wedding. It's definitely a good wine worth tens of thousands per bottle. Seeing his father liked it, his wife gave all the remaining wine at home to his father. Deshaun's heart was bleeding. When toasting Old Zhang, the sharp-eyed Old Zhang noticed his watch. Deshaun quickly covered it with his clothes, saying it was a knockoff, only worth $10. Unexpectedly, Old Zhang directly took out $100, saying, "Give me 10 of those first." Suddenly, a phone rang. Oh no, he forgot to turn it off. Everyone said it wasn't theirs, and Deshaun didn't dare to show his newly bought luxury phone. Suddenly, he had a brainwave and mentioned their divorce, successfully changing the topic. His wife angrily left her seat. The man picked up a big flower pot and smashed it directly onto the boss's Mercedes. He climbed onto the hood, broke the wipers, and scratched the paint with a key. The car alarm blared in fright, but Deshaun, still unsatisfied, treated the tires as if they were the boss's body, went up and slashed them, letting the air out. Deshaun was originally a poor guy, but he unfortunately won 200 million. Just as he came out of a high-end restaurant, he happened to see his wife and Curly getting out of a car. Afraid of being discovered by his wife, he hurriedly disguised himself as a restaurant security guard. His wife didn't suspect his identity and even mocked him. In his wife's eyes, for such a high-end restaurant, Deshaun could at most only freeload a meal. The angry Deshaun wanted revenge. Curly started smashing the Mercedes. After he finished, he realized he had the wrong target. Curly's car was parked elsewhere. Deshaun went to work at the supermarket his wife introduced. Unexpectedly, the boss was his old-school rival, Curly. Curly humiliated him thoroughly. However, thinking of the 200 million, Deshaun didn't say anything. From then on, Deshaun worked at the supermarket during the day pretending to be poor, and at night enjoyed himself at 5-star hotels, eating top-notch food, drinking expensive wine, soaking in comfortable baths. The life of a rich person is just so plain and boring. That day, the driver drove the car into a gas station, stopping right in front of his friend Xiaopong. Instantly, their eyes met. Xiaopong nodded inside, shouted, and then awkwardly responded. At that moment, his mind went blank. He didn't know how to explain to Xiaopong. Just as he was about to come clean, Xiaopong brushed his hair with a comb and then slipped. After this, how can others live? It turns out little Fatty was just looking in the mirror, a false alarm. After a brief delay, Deshaun was late for work at the supermarket and was caught by Curly, who immediately scolded him. However, for the sake of those 200 million, Deshaun endured it. Passing by a bar in the evening, he saw two friends happily drinking, but he couldn't tolerate it himself. Returning home, he felt lonely. How could he make wealthy friends? Suddenly, he had a bold idea. The next day, a beautiful woman approached Lil Fatty, inviting him to endorse a pair of sunglasses for 800,000. Brother Hu also suddenly received an inheritance of 800,000. saying it was from his second uncle's third aunt who passed away. The two took the money and bought sports cars, which left Deshaun unfazed. He was shocked, thinking they would use the money to improve their lives, but they spent it recklessly. They retorted to Deshaun, "It's our money, we can spend it however we want." Deshaun finally revealed the truth, "I'm not pretending anymore, all your money is mine. I'm a billionaire worth 200 million. Brother Hu got so excited that he drove the car into the sea. Wearing a simple dress, how does one ride a motorcycle? Let's see this woman's maneuver. Then, he got into the king's car and sped all the way to the airport to catch Deshaun, who was about to leave. Deshaun couldn't take it anymore and planned to leave this heartbreaking place. Just a few days ago, while playing golf, Deshaun's financial advisor told him that Curly was mortgaging the supermarket for a loan and was about to go bankrupt. At that moment, Curly happened to arrive. Deshaun had to pretend to be a beggar, claiming it was his part-time job. "Now, when you should be working at the supermarket, you're here doing a part-time job." Curly fired him on the spot. Deshaun hurried to the supermarket to tell his wife that the supermarket was going to close and Curly was going bankrupt. But his wife didn't believe him, saying he was just jealous of Curly's wealth. That day, his wife suddenly received a call from Curly. When she arrived at the supermarket, she found it really had closed, and everyone was laid off. Deshaun took the opportunity to invite his disappointed wife to dinner. He specially invited a Michelin chef to their home to prepare a grand meal. That night, by the fire, they had a candlelit dinner. Deshaun confessed to his wife that he had won 200 million. His wife didn't believe him, thinking he was bragging. It wasn't until she saw the warehouse turned into a luxurious suite that she believed him. "Why didn't you say so earlier? Divorce. No money, divorce. With money, still divorce. What kind of creature is a woman, really? Why is it so difficult?" At this moment, the wife suddenly received a transfer of 100 million. Then, she got a message that the supermarket had reopened and the employees were back to work. What surprised her even more was that the boss was actually herself. The wife then remembered that the financial advisor, Deshaun, told her that he was at the airport, about to leave here. He wanted to leave this sad place and start anew. A life with money, leisure, and being single. Thinking he could leave me so easily? No way. The wife hurriedly ran out of the supermarket. At this time, a traffic cop was issuing a ticket. Yi Ping is the wife of a billionaire. The traffic cop immediately said she could use the public car for private use and personally take her to the airport. The two of them rushed all the way. At the boarding gate, the wife saw Deshaun and went up to give him a big slap. "Just a mere 100 million in a small supermarket, and you think you can settle with me?" Deshaun instantly understood the meaning. After a lot of talking, he finally got his wife's forgiveness. Deshaun and his wife went back to living a shamelessly happy life. The movie, If I Were a Rich Man, ends here. This episode's interactive topic. If you suddenly won 200 million, what would you do? If it were me, I definitely wouldn't want to wake up. After all, in dreams, you have everything. At this moment, I'm just afraid someone next to me would say, "DeLong, wake up and take your medicine." Alright, if you want to see more great movie explanations, please follow me. Bye bye.
Yeah.